The Akwesasne PowWow returns this year. It's an annual event that many in the region look forward to, and this year it will be held in Lamoureux Park. So joining me now to speak about this event, I'd like to welcome to the show Romain and Danka. Welcome.
Good being here.
Oh, it's great to have you both here. And let's start with a little bit of the history of the powwow. Obviously, this is deeply rooted in cultural practices, and it's an event that happens every September. So let's talk a little bit about the history of the powwow.
I'll talk the history of the powwow. I've been with the powwow since probably its inception 20 plus years ago. And the event, it actually started as a result of some of the, if you want to say, the meetings and calls that the students, young people were doing about our own culture and the need for some cultural celebrations within our territory. And so from there it spurred the development of the powwow, which is a social gathering of many nations. And a chance to highlight indigenous culture, not only Haudenosaunee culture, but also other indigenous cultures as well. And so it's kind of grown in its capacity of having guests come from as far as the reach as 4 hours away. Folks are coming from different territories as well as guests. We do have folks who have been here in the past from who've went on vacation with their families from Europe and stuff like that, and kind of send us emails to the powwow email, and when's the powwow going to happen? We're planning our vacation, and we want to make sure that we swing by and have a chance to take it in. But over the years, and hence the reason why it's kind of gone to the Lamoureux Park. The success of the event has grown it in such a extent that the event has outgrown the size of the facility at an Oilagor Arena, and for many people, it was a tough decision to do that. But as a committee, we look at the safety of our guests as first and foremost, and over the years, just watching the growth of the event and the size of the group of people who would come, the access road to the arena, Philip Hops Memorial Road, I believe. Yes. So, and as well as the International Road, Cornwall Island Road, in the past couple of years, that's been jammed with participants coming in. And we were very fortunate to have the Point family, who owned a property next to the arena, as well as the White family, who own property, and they allow us to use that for overflow parking. And our gauge as organizers is that by 12 o'clock, if the main parking lot's full, we'll say we're going to the overflow. And last couple of years, it's been before 12 o'clock. Where we're going to overflow, and then to the point where overflow is full. So that became an issue in that capacity, but also from the standpoint of the road coming in. There's no shoulder. It's pretty tight. So if in the event we had to get any emergency vehicles and larger vehicles in there, we do have ambulance on site, so that's not an issue. But if we needed to get more support, any larger vehicles, emergency vehicles, really wouldn't have that opportunity to make it there. So for the safety of all of our guests, we had started looking at other areas that can safely host an event of this size. So.
Absolutely, and not far, really. Yeah. At the end of the day, the arena will be in view from across the river, and it's. I know many within the city are very excited that it will be in Lamoureux Park. It's a beautiful space. But talk to me about the powwow itself, and it's happening Saturday and Sunday. What will be taking place? Take us a little bit through the day, or days.
Yeah. So the powwow gates open at 10 a.m. We have over 72 craft vendors. Around 50% are all local artisans, and the other 50 travel from, like he said, some are up to 4 hours away, some come even further, but generally 4 hours away, and they come and display all their different types of crafts. We have various different food vendors that we always ask, have some sort of native cuisine or native style food. Some aren't all technically traditional foods, but have been a part of native culture for years and years and years. So yeah, they all come to show everything that's going on, and then throughout the whole time, visitors get to experience culture, singing and dancing at certain times throughout the event too. Our MC will also invite guests who are watching the powwow go on to actually come down and be a part of the powwow itself, and get to try their dance moves on the stage and see if it interests them at all, and just see what the whole thing's all about. But for all the dancers and drummers and people involved in the powwow, the Akwesasne PowWow is a pivotal role in the ending of the powwow trail. So it's one of the last powwows of the year or of the season to that aspect. We're in a very unique position where some travelers are going back to the United States or crossing through more to Quebec or vice versa. So a lot of them come and meet. This is kind of a big meeting point, or the middle, I should say. And it's got a lot of history here in Akwesasne, right? We're a very unique border town. We have strong, rich culture here. And so these dancers and drummers, they come to compete over the next 2 days to crown champions of their specific dance or style, or drum contest. And yeah, it's all for celebration. It's all for culture. It's all for meeting each other and connecting with people.
Absolutely, here is a great social gathering, and maybe we could talk a little bit about that, because you did mention, of course, the cultural aspect, and obviously the Mohawk culture, Indigenous culture, is very much alive. It is very vibrant, and talk to me about the importance of keeping it so, and how the powwow helps with that, but also just the richness of that culture. You mentioned the history. This goes back time immemorial, right? Some of these traditions.
Yeah, the Akwesasne PowWow is one of the few events that actually kind of runs two competitions within one event, because as Dank has mentioned, the powwow dancers will compete for points over 2 days, and on Sunday they'll find out who has accumulated the most points. Likewise for the singers, but also contained within the powwow, we actually highlight the Iroquois smoke dance, which is it's a social dance. But the term we use is the fastest dance on 2 feet. And so we have Haudenosaunee Iroquois dancers. Haudenosaunee dancers will compete for 2 days as part of that. So we'll see as part of the grand entry, very similar to, for those who may not know what a grand entry is, if you've been to Highland Games, the tattoo where all the drummers come in, we have the same thing. It's called the grand entry. And we have 2 grand entries. We have a grand entry at 12 o'clock on Saturday, and then a second grand entry on 6 o'clock on Saturday, as well as one on Sunday at 12 o'clock. But these types of dances, and having been a powwow vendor for 30 plus years, we see the generations of the children who are dancing. Some of the older folks who may be in the golden age categories have brought their children up in what we say is on the trail, the powwow trail, and that rekindles the culture within that. And likewise for many of the Haudenosaunee dancers. And to that extent, we've confirmed that, we just confirmed that we will actually have at what we call the supper break, when dancers go and have their supper, we're actually going to have some Iroquois social dances that folks can actually get up and try some dances. We have a group that'll be performing from 5 o'clock on.
Yeah, supper break.
Supper break, 5 o'clock on, and they'll be inviting people in to come and show some of the social dances, because the social dances, there's a variety of categories where we have our ceremonial dance. Social dances are about friendship. bringing people in and sharing culture. And this group that's coming in are some fine young gentlemen who are carrying on that culture. And so as an organizer and as a old person in the community, you see the younger ones picking that up, you know. Case in point, you have a, you know, I'm kind of like an ex officio powwow committee member, passing the torch to the younger people, and that's what we see happening with the dancers as well. You know, the older ones are showing the younger ones proper protocols and that like. So that's kind of like how the culture is shared. You know, and one of the things you know, there are protocols that you can see that once we purchase a program, there will be some instructions in there about picture taking, about the dancers' regalia, you know, and it's referred to as regalia. They're not costumes. Costumes are you wear at Halloween. This is a regalia that the different dancers will wear. And so in the program, we'll go through some of those protocols, you know, something simple as asking permission to take pictures, because some of those colors, some of those designs are specifically that family's design. And so it's kind of just a courtesy to ask if you can take their pictures. Some will allow, some won't, because of you know, certain components of it. But again, that's going to be individual. But again, it's just the protocols of how you.
And there's lots to learn throughout the event, through meeting people, walking around, whether you're, you know, sitting and watching the powwow itself go on, or you're walking throughout the event and buying crafts, buying food. Everyone that's kind of a part of it plays a role into teaching what things are, whether you're trying a new food or trying something you've never tried before, or you're looking to buy native crafts. You know, some will tell you, you know, this is a craft that's more for only natives, and this is a craft that anyone can purchase, you know, and they'll explain the significance of things, or why we wear them, or the traditional aspects of them. And then throughout the entire powwow itself, the MCs will usually announce, you know, like you said, protocols, things that come up throughout the day, if, you know, whether it's issues or it's things we can help teach or learn from, and not just, you know, visitors, but even powwow participants, staff, all kinds of people kind of play a role into all of it. So it's very much a big celebration, a gathering, a learning experience for everyone, not just attendees and guests. So yeah.
Plus, as Dank has mentioned, some of the teachings that go along with that, you know, we'll have a whole host of information booths going down, but also we have some demonstrators, because he's mentioned some of the crafts that are done, you know, are done on territory. We'll have some corn husk doll making presentations at a certain time, and then we'll have some basket demonstrations. Plus, also we'll have the Native North American Traveling College, Lanatahuni Cultural Center. They're actually going to be setting up almost like a mini museum in the band shell, because the powwow itself, we don't use the band shell. It's going to actually be behind the benches in the green area. Yeah. That's where the event will be taking place. So that actually, we're going to have an opportunity for folks who are new to the culture, an opportunity to go in there, and they'll have a mini museum set up for discussion. And Denka had mentioned about our vendors. One of the things we talk about is that the vendors, in order to sell, have to have 50% of your product made by you. So when you're talking to a vendor about a product, a pair of moccasins, some beading or whatever, you know, inquire about it, because those are the people who actually made it. It's really a lot of history behind the artwork they're doing and how they've done it. Some of the techniques are quite old. So it's an excellent learning opportunity for people, because we require that the maker to be there. And that's what we found with folks who have come up to us in the past and said, I've learned so much just talking to this craft vendor.
And to piggyback on that, the biggest thing for us as a committee is we're guaranteeing authenticity, right? Like you're showing up to, not just to our powwow, but like the powwow is showing up for you. You're not buying, tacky or half-made or bought somewhere kind of half done, and you're putting your work onto it. You're buying something that someone has sat there for sometimes hours, and this is their life. This isn't just a one thing hobby. This is, hey, this is a real business. I have potential here, and I want to display it to thousands of people. So like even just selecting vendors, it's a rigorous process. Some people have been in our powwow for years, and some people try and they can't get in, and it's not due to the lack of good product. It's the quality, right? It's quality. It's the quantity. Are you able to sell? Are you able to put your name behind everything, right? And same goes for food. Same goes for really everything we're putting into the powwow. It's a very long process. We start kind of opening the boxes very early. It's almost a 9-month process to get this powwow running every year. This is all volunteer. Everyone that is a part of this, does it on their days off, does it on their me time, does it, so a lot goes into it, and we're very proud to put on a good powwow, and we hope everyone enjoys it.
Yeah, and and as Dankus mentioned, there's a lot of time that goes into it, but plus also the monetary support that we have from a lot of the organizations, Mohawk Council of Akwesasne, the City of Cornwall. Oh my God, there's like many businesses, local businesses within Akwesasne provide monetary support, as well as businesses in Cornwall as well. So the list is, we don't have enough time to go through them, but to put on an event of this size requires a lot of support, and and we acknowledge the fact that there are a lot of people who help. What we say is all of the cogs in the wheel.
Get us to that point.
Get us to that point. Even when the support we have from Bank of Montreal on Cornwall Island, or the Bank of Montreal in general, because they have volunteers who come in and they man the admission gates. And they're the first face you see at the event, and that they're drawing people from Vaudreuil, from Quebec, from Ottawa, the volunteers who come down to do that. So we acknowledge the work that BMO does for the powwow, and they've been doing it for years. So there's a lot of components that all come into that, and we acknowledge each one of them. Even when we talk about the grand entry itself, the grand entry itself is actually a ceremony. It's the honoring of all of those dancers who are coming in, honoring of what we say is our flags. The flags meaning not specifically the Canadian, the American, Ontario flag. It's actually the flag, what we say is the eagle staff. The staff of the flag of all First Nations people is honored with an eagle staff. And so that's brought in by our head veteran. And we have a number of veterans that actually carry the flags. We're honored to have members from the American Legion in Hogansburg who actually carry the flags in, and sometimes we'll get members from the Canadian Legion come and support as well. So that whole honoring, that whole ceremony is very special, to the point where we honor those who have given everything for us to be able to be here in a safe world. So we honor our elders, we honor our veterans, and that's part of that whole beginning, the grand entry component. And as Dankus mentioned, the MCs that we have are quite, they're worldly, they're knowledgeable people who take that opportunity at every chance to teach about it. What does this song mean? How does this, because there are a variety of different dances that are done. We talk about the the sneak up or the women's dances, and they provide those teachings for them. So it's a learning experience soon as you get there to the point where you leave.
It's so wonderful, and as you said, it's a learning experience for those within Mohawk culture, learning of their own culture, but also for those visiting from the city of Cornwall. I know many will travel. In past years will travel over and attend, and it just another opportunity with it being in Lamoureux Park for more people, hopefully, to come in and experience this. So that's the most important question now: is how can people attend over the Saturday and the Sunday?
So to that extent, The powwow has always offered bus shuttles. So with it being in Akwesasne prior to, we used to work with the city of Cornwall to provide shuttle buses over to the island. And with it now being in Lamoureux Park, we've actually been working with the city and Cornwall Transit to provide buses throughout the weekend. So as long as you're in Cornwall, you just tell them you're going to the powwow and you jump on for free.
Wonderful.
Yeah, and so Sunday buses are closed, but we're providing, I believe, two buses on the Sunday, and they do like the Canada Day route. So wherever you are, pretty much in that area, you can jump on, and it should say powwow on it, and you can go right to Lamoureux Park.
And likewise, we're reciprocating as well. Is that we're offering bus services from points in Akwesasne for folks who may not have vehicles to come to the powwow. So we've reciprocated that as well. So it provides as much of an opportunity to attend the event as possible.
Oh, that's wonderful. And so I want to thank you both so much for joining us, and we'll take the opportunity as well to thank, as you mentioned, all the sponsors, all the businesses supporting this, all the support that you've gotten, the volunteers, yourselves included, that are working so hard to organize this every year. So we thank you for that, and we're really looking forward to this, and we know it'll be a great success, and we're looking forward to the learning opportunities and the celebrations and the fun as well. So thank you once again. Best of luck with this year's powwow.
All right, thank you. Thank you for having us.